I'm Carol Viar, candidate for Kansas Board of Education, District 6. From a one-room red brick schoolhouse in Lincoln County, through a master's degree in business administration from Kansas State University, I'm a product of the Kansas education system. I'm an accountant and a landlord. My husband Ed is retired from the railroad. Our son James graduated from K-State in May and is a mechanical engineer in McPherson. I have 2 stepsons and 3 grandchildren. I've been an advocate for Kansas children all my adult life. I've served on the boards of the Salina YWCA, the Domestic Violence Association of Central Kansas, and the Salina Public Library. I've served as a Sunday school teacher, youth group leader, and children's choir director. 8 years ago, I founded a summer program for low-income children called the Castle Project that emphasizes academic activities, healthy eating, and character development. I'm not a politician. I'm an experienced and educated school board member. I'm a lifelong learner. When I began to serve on the Southeast Board of Education 7 years ago, I saw opportunities for learning, and I immersed myself in learning about school issues. I've attended many training events offered by the Kansas Association of School Boards. I'm a graduate of the Leadership for Tomorrow training program offered by KASB. As I learned, I began to see the great need for ordinary people to step up in support of our students and our teachers and our schools. The State Board needs to be the leader, the face of education in Kansas. State Board members need to be those who have studied educational issues, those who will fight for public education in Kansas, those who are not afraid to ask hard questions, those who have studied the issues and are prepared to lead, those who will stand firm for what is right. I am that person. I did not decide to run for the State Board on the weekend before the filing deadline. I've been preparing myself for several years. I'm not afraid to ask hard questions or to look for new ways of doing things. Kansas education professionals know that our system is not perfect. The State Board has many challenges ahead, advocating for adequate funding of schools, working to discover better ways to educate the students in areas of declining population, deciding the future of science education in Kansas with the next generation science standards, implementation of Common Core curriculum, and implementation of the waiver from No Child Left Behind. During my time on the board, I have seen increases and decreases in funding for education. Increased funding gave schools additional resources for teaching some of the most challenging students, special education students, English language learners, and low-income students. Achievement test scores rose. It has been tough the past few years with the decreased funding. For the first time in over 10 years, in 2012, the scores on the achievement test went down. Funding cuts must be restored. Educating the children in our more sparsely populated areas of Kansas will become a more pressing issue. Sharing of staff and resources, uses of technology and other creative delivery methods, and partnerships will need to be used in order to keep the schools in our smaller communities. I believe in God. I believe that God created the universe and that the theory of evolution works toward explaining how that happened. I believe that science should be taught in our schools. One of the goals of the next generation science standards is to make science more hands-on and to push the language and concepts of science and engineering down into the elementary level. Together with 48 other states, Kansas has adopted the Common Core curriculum. These English language arts and mathematics standards represent a set of expectations for student knowledge and skills that high school graduates need in order to succeed in college and careers. They are aligned with college and work expectations and will help to ensure that Kansas students are prepared to compete with their peers around the globe. As we move forward into the new evaluation systems for students and teachers established through the Kansas waiver from the No Child Left Behind, we must work harder to focus on the growth of each individual child. Don't let anyone convince you of anything different than this. Kansas has good public schools. On 11 national measures of education, Kansas ranks 6th among the 50 states, while our spending is 26th in the nation. My best hopes for Kansas are these: that we raise highly educated children, that we make our schools and communities such that when our children complete their post-secondary education, they want to live and work and raise their families in Kansas, and that there will be high-quality public schools here in Kansas for our grandchildren. It will take adequate funding and dedicated, hardworking people on the Kansas Board of Education to make that happen. Please vote for Carol Viar on November 6th.